Never let it be said, we are going to start early today, albeit by 15 seconds. I hope you're all well. It is good to see you. Welcome to Voice Essentials, our live hangout that we do every week. It is good to spend the next 40 minutes or so with you. Hope you'll be able to stick around for the entire show. And of course, something I haven't said for a little while, if you are watching this as a replay, we love having you here. In fact, most people watching the show are watching the show as a replay because, of course, in the Northern Hemisphere, for much of certainly the United States, it is Sunday evening, quite late, and therefore many of you are in bed. I do want to say, though, hello to all of the people that are watching live. It is good to see you all. I hope you're all safe, particularly if you are in New South Wales. We here in Australia, just to fill those of you who are from other parts of the world, here in Australia on the eastern seaboard of Australia, so that's sort of where I live in Brisbane, and then all the way down the eastern coast, all the way down into New South Wales, down towards Sydney, we have got catastrophic fire conditions. Catastrophic is in Australia, it is our top warning level, our top hazard level for fires. And people have lost homes, their possessions. Sadly, a number of people have lost their lives. So wherever you are, I hope you are safe. I hope you are comfortable. You know, with the fires that we've got coming through. Currently, where I live in Brisbane, Australia, our city is completely blanketed in smoke. Consequently, all of my throat and I woke up with all of my sinuses. It's not pretty. But in comparison to losing your home, I guess I can deal with the roughness that is my throat for the next couple of days. We've got a few things that I want to cover off on today, and so I hope you'll stick with us. We are going to look at some Q&A, but of course I want to tell you about Voice Essentials 3. It is here, and many of you have already purchased your copy. In fact, it's really important that I stress to you, if you already have Voice Essentials 1 and Voice Essentials 2, then you can complete the set. You can get all three. So if you get Voice Essentials 3, basically today, I think there's about 16 hours. No, there's less than that. I forget. I wonder how many. I think. Let me see if I can see how many hours we have left on Voice Essentials. I'll tell you how. Oh no, I can't. Look, it's something like 12 hours or something that we have got left to run on the special of Voice Essentials 3. So you can save $5, $19.95, but literally that special introductory price will finish at the end of basically my today, which is in 10 hours time. So there you go, about 10 hours is when it will finish. After that, it will be $24.95 like Voice Essentials 1, 2 and 3. Now, for those of you who are really canny shoppers, there is bundles. So if you don't own any of the collections, you can bundle it all together now and save really big dollars, because of course we not only, let me jump over here and I'll show. I'll give you guys a little bit of a, oh, let me get rid of that. Hang on. There we go. So not only have we got, actually, what am I doing? What am I doing today? I'm coming across here. I'll show you here. So this is Voice Essentials 3, everyone. So you can see here. Now, can I just bring to your attention, some of you have emailed me asking, can I still preview the tracks? Well, Voice Essentials 3 is now available not only, in fact, all of the Voice Essentials suite of exercises is not only available on the Djarts site or the Voice Essentials site. You can get it on both sites. So Djarts, DJARTS.com. I've got links in the description section of this video. Djarts is my original website, in a sense, my private teaching website, but it's got a store on it that historically is where you could buy all of the tracks, and many of you have bought your exercises from there. And that's where you can, in fact, preview all of the exercises from 1, 2, and 3. And you can see there that it's showing as a sale up here at the top. So that's until the end of today. But of course, you can also get it now on the voiceessentials.com.au site. Again, the links are in below, which is where I introduced the online course. But now you can also get all of the suite of exercises as standalone items as well. But the limitations of the voiceessentials.com.au site means that I can't show previews on that site, if that makes sense. And so if you want to have a listen to the tracks, they are super funky. So this is where Djarts.com.au, link below. This is where you'd want to check that out, with all of the 15 examples, and be ready to be challenged is all I'm going to say. There are some really challenging activities in Voice Essentials 3. In fact, my good friend Renee Suddy, who is just an amazing session singer, both her and I found some of the exercises that we've constructed really difficult to perform and present for you guys, and so I'm really hoping that, you know, where Voice Essentials 1 is for beginners and Voice Essentials 2 is for intermediate singers, Voice Essentials 3 is really going to challenge the most advanced of you, and I think you'll really find it quite enjoyable. And the last 2 tracks, I don't know if you can see there at the bottom here, we've put together two exercises 14 and 15, or what in this are exercises 49 and 50 if you think about the entire suite of exercises together. They're 2 exercises that help you to start developing harmony. So for those of you guys who want to sing harmony, these are 2 little sort of songettes, if you will, that we've built that will empower you to sing harmony. And in fact, with exercises 49 and 50, there's not just the 1 track, there's actually 4 tracks that go with that. So that when you, for example, if you were to play the second track of exercise 49, when you download the entire thing, it will play the melody, and then it will, and has the melody out the front of the mix, and then the melody goes back into the general mix, and then the melody drops out altogether when it repeats a 3rd time, so that you've actually got to hold that melody as the other 2 parts are sung. It is hopefully going to be really beneficial to you. Now, you can certainly do that by ear, but of course, as you know, what I've also done, and I'll just bring this, where can I bring, I'm looking at a different screen. If you're wondering what I'm doing, I'm up here looking at this screen. So what I've also done is put together, get this over here, put together a complete bundle. Now you can get all the exercise CD collections as singular items. You can bundle them with their specific exercise collection e-manual. You can bundle the 3 exercise collections, all 50 tracks together. You can bundle all of the e-manuals together. And so the e-manuals are, this is the first time I've ever released all of these, all of my exercise lesson sheets to the big bad world. Historically, it's only been available to my private students, or to if you've done the Voice Essentials 1 online course, you'll have had access to the e-manual lesson sheets in that course. But now you can actually have access to the lesson sheets for Voice Essentials 2 and Voice Essentials 3. So you can get all of those e-manuals together, or you can do what I've called my super bundle, where you get all 3 CDs together, all exercise. Got to get out of the habit of calling them CDs because we no longer release them on CD. They're all digital exercise collections. You can get all of the tracks and all of the lesson sheets, the e-manuals all together for the super bundle, or you can bundle, and this is what we're looking at right now, you can bundle the Pro, put it together as a Pro bundle where you get all of the exercises, all of the lesson sheets, and access to Voice Essentials 1 online course. The next question that I've been asked a lot is, when will Voice Essentials 2 online course be coming out? At this stage, I plan to release that mid next year. The price is still it's going to be either $147 or $197. I think it'll be $197 because there is a bit more in that collection of exercises. And so, yeah, if you're thinking about, what do I purchase the Pro bundle now? I don't know. You certainly can, or you can wait and I'll bundle it all together when we get to mid next year as well, because Voice Essentials 3 online course won't be released now until probably mid 2021. So now, of course, for those of you who follow along quite closely, I always release new products at introductory rates and prices, so that those of you who have already got stuff and are already part of the learning ecosystem that we've built here at Voice Essentials, that you can get that at reduced rates. And so there's always a period of time, and we will do the same thing with Voice Essentials 2 online course. There will be an introductory rate. So if you're concerned about overspending, try not to be. You can engage and invest in the process now, and it's not going to cost you an arm and a leg. I hope that all makes it really clear. There is just so much now, isn't there, in the Voice Essentials suite of activity, like 50 exercises. That is a lot of work to get through. In lessons, privately with me, that equates to 35 sessions, the way I sort of step students through it. That's 35 full sessions of lessons. So that gives you an idea. 35, what's 35 times 125? I'm not sure how much money that is worth. Let me get a calculator. 120 or 125. 125 is Australian is what I charge per hour. Times 35 is, so it's nearly $4,500 of activity that we're sort of throwing into the mix here. And if you just get the super bundle for $100, it gives you some insight into sort of the value of doing this. I'm already getting such wonderful feedback from all of you about Voice Essentials 3, and so I'm really tickled that so many of you are engaging in it already. Moving on, because this is not just simply about selling product. This is about educating you and educating. For those of you who don't know, I am currently the National President of the Australian Voice Association. We are a multidisciplinary association, professional association here in Australia, and we're a collective of singing teachers, speech pathologists, ear, nose and throat doctors, laryngologists, and spoken voice people who are really dedicated to the care and direction of professional voice. And on the 7th of December, I wanted to let you all know, because some of you are going to be super interested in this. On the 7th of December, and when I see you again in a couple of weeks, I'll put a link in the show in 2 weeks. But I want to let you know about it now. The Australian Voice Association, we just call it the AVA, is having a webinar. Now, this will be a pay-for webinar, like it'll be behind a paywall, so there will be a cost. but it is with Tony Award-winning singing teacher from New York, Joan Lader. Now, this lady is regarded not just critically, like she is widely regarded as one of the world's leading experts on music theatre voice, professional voice. And I wanted to tell you guys about it because, of course, as you know, we have live guests here on the show all the time. But this is a real, like, mega opportunity for you guys to really engage with one of the world's absolute standouts. So I'll just wanted to let you know, it'll be, that's now Saturday the 7th of December is a Saturday here in Australia, but in the US it will be on basically Friday evening. And so pencil it into your diaries as something that you're going to want to be involved in and participate in. There, you don't have to be a member of the Australian Voice Association to be involved, but I'll get links to you as soon as it becomes available. The links aren't quite up yet, but I wanted to let you know about it. So there you go. I said I'd show you this. Let me show you. Hang on. Ta-da! Pull it off the wall. Bring it over. Ooh. Here it is, everyone. There you go. Remember last week I was telling you all about the fact that this little puppy arrived? We finally got there. 100,000 subscribers here on YouTube. And of course, YouTube, for those of you who don't know, send a play button, a silver play button. And look, can I tell you, I was really quite chuffed to receive the award, and but in no small thanks to you guys. It's you guys that chime in, you know, week after week, and you watch my pre-recorded videos, and so thank you. Thank you for believing in the channel, believing in what we're doing here. You know, as you know, we are a group of people that believe it is the human birthright. It is the birthright of the human birthright. Well, I guess that makes sense. It is the birthright of every human being to sing. You do not have to be a celebrity. There is no such thing as singers and non-singers. We all have a voice, and every voice deserves to be heard. That's what we're about here. But we are about doing it to the absolute best of our ability. And so to receive this bad boy was, in fact, it was kind of funny because when it arrived, I was really, I don't know, it kind of made it really real for some reason. So I was really chuffed. So thank you to one and all. What we did together. Now, if you were paying attention, a couple of moments ago I said I will, in a couple of weeks, put the link in the description section of the video about Joan Lader. That is because next week there is no show. And the reason for that is because the night before next week's show, so my Sunday night, I'm having my private studio student showcase for the end of the year. Big event. I look forward to it every year. I really enjoy the student showcase. The students get a lot out of it, and we put on a pro level show with moving lights and fog machines and the whole shebang. So it's a lot of fun. But all of the next day, I have to edit the video of that show. It takes me all day to edit it and get it up so students can have access to it, and also so I can share it. And I'll share it onto the Facebook community group when it comes available, so you can see what the students, my private students, have been up to. A lot of them are working really hard. So no show next week, which means that the week after, which is November the 25th, Monday the 25th, will be our last show. As I said to you last week or the week before, I am going to be taking an extended hiatus from the live show over December, January. No live show for December, January. I need a rest. It took more out of me to get Voice Essentials. Took a lot more out. Took a lot to get out. A lot. See, I can't even string my words together. It took a lot out of me to get the Voice Essentials 3 collection out to you, and I need a holiday. So no shows December, January. So our last show is in 2 weeks. I hope you'll all join us for that. And can I just put out another request for those of you who want to participate in 2020 for the live song reviews? I still haven't received anyone's stuff for us to do a live song review. Remember a few weeks back we did one with Kathy Snyder? It was so good. I mean, seriously, if you're thinking about doing that show and participating in the live song review, I really encourage you. Go back, have a search on the channel, and watch Kathy's show. See what it's all about. See that it's not scary. Well, Kathy said it was scary to start with, but by the time she finished, she just had such a good time. I really work hard to make it a really safe, productive, exciting experience for you. And so I'm hoping some of you will put your hand up to participate with that in 2020. But of course, our opportunities to do that this year have faded, I'm afraid. So there you go. We need to get to some Q&A. There was a lot of stuff that we had to cover. Thanks for sticking around. I can see there's a lot of action going on in our live chat. So let me just jump over here, and I'm going to jump down here because we've got some questions going on. Okay, so let's get rid of that. I'm going to jump over here, everyone. Okay, so we can just have nice big screen of the questions. Okay, so Milquiades Cortez, greetings from Colombia. Hello, greetings from Australia. Is it normal to feel that I'm singing in head voice while practicing mixed voice? Yeah, actually it is. And that's because it feels so much lighter often than what you would normally feel if you're in chest voice. And it really does just come down to the balancing of the musculature and how you weight it. And to start with, it can very much feel when you are mixing the registers and mixing what is the muscular balance of the voice, yeah, it can feel like you're in head voice, but continue to work with it, because there are, certainly my experience and what I've observed in my students is there are subtle differences that you can come to recognize between the two. Eric Dombrowski, is it some great names today? I'm sorry, everyone. You know, I give it a shot. I give it a red hot go at actually being able to pronounce your names, but more often than not, I don't get it great. Is it bad to sing with faked country accent or a rock accent? And is it bad if I cannot sing vibrato at all? Okay. Let's deal with country first. If you are creating a country sound with a squeezed tight larynx to sort of try to create that bright ring that we would typically associate with country and western music, then yeah, that sort of lending itself to tightness can be problematic, as can rock accent if you're overdriving and over pressurizing the voice. The key here is to not learn to fake these activities, but to learn the underpinning skills and setups to achieve those, and so that you're not approaching it as something that you're learning to emulate, but you're actually approaching it as something that you're learning to do, and seeing it as a skill that you can actually develop, you know, and workshop the tools around. As far as vibrato goes, You know, and in fact, there's a vibrato exercise, an exploring, I've specifically called it exploring vibrato exercise in Voice Essentials 3. With vibrato, I don't get hung up on it anymore. Back, you know, if I go back 20 years ago, I've been teaching 25 years next year. If I go back 20 years ago, so I've been teaching about 5 years, vibrato was almost, you know, seen as a really bad thing. Why? Because it was the pendulum swing against classical voice that has a very established vibratos. Vibratos was something we're looking for in classical. And so, you know, to be contemporary, you had to be the opposite to classical. And so we removed any vibrato. I do not subscribe to that view any longer. And the reason being is that you don't have to go far in listening to, you know, the top 40 of your country's, you know, music to hear contemporary singers using vibrato, whether it's simply at the end of a phrase, whether it's as a signature. Some artists are even using it like almost a tremolo, a really fast rated vibrato. And so, you know, but then some singers are not using it at all. I don't get hung up on it. What I do get hung up on is ensuring that your voice is at a muscular level, free and balanced. And our understanding around vibrato is that you do need a muscularly free and balanced apparatus for vibrato to onset into the sound. That's where I'd stop. So, you know, if you do want to sing with vibrato, great. If you don't, great. I don't get that hung up on it, to be honest. Yeah, Amy, how can I hit higher notes when I tighten my voice? Let me reread that again. I'm about to sneeze. Excuse me, everyone. Now, my sneezes come in twos. That's something I know, so I'm expecting a second one to arrive any moment. Before it gets here, let me read. How come I can hit higher notes when I tighten my voice, but when I open up and sing correctly, I cannot hit the notes as high and my voice is shaky? Does this mean I need more practice, or is my limit? Well, when the height of a note is determined by the rate of oscillation of the vocal folds and the length of the vocal folds. But it's also influenced by the length of the vocal tract and the shape of the vocal tract. And the resonance that the shape that the sound enters into, that resonance then interplays back against the oscillation of the vocal folds. This is something that we now know. And so what I hear you saying is when you are singing high, you're tightening, and but when you are singing, when you open up, the voice is not quite given to finding that. So what I would suggest, and it's something that you haven't actually mentioned here, is I would go looking to see if you can do it with a more open approach, but back the pressure off. Play with the air pressure and see what impact that has. Now, of course, I'm speaking rather generally here because, you know, I don't get to hear you specifically, Amy, so you might want to play around with this. But look, always remember, you know, because you then go on to say, does this mean I need more practice? Always remember, practice does not make perfect. Practice makes permanent. So if you are practicing the wrong thing, then all you are doing is reinforcing the wrong thing. You are practicing and developing muscle memory that is incorrect. So you've got to make sure that what you are practicing is actually leading to better outcomes and developing good technique, not actually reinforcing bad technique. But as far as, you know, you then finish with, that is my limit. Unlikely. It's unlikely that is your limit. But, you know, play around with that air pressure and see how you go. Matt, does singing in head voice take the quality away from the voice of a low voice singer? I knew low voice was going to be there somewhere, Matt. I couldn't see it immediately, but I knew it would be there. Some of the songs I sing involve head voice. With everything about registration, always remember, you are not a singular register. You will be if you only work a singular register. You need to work the voice across registration. Voice Essentials, the Voice Essentials suite of exercises is designed to workshop your voice across the registers. Not every exercise, but as a total suite of activity, it is there for you to explore the entire register, for you to have balance throughout your voice. And so there is nothing wrong with playing around with head voice. In fact, it's a healthy thing to do. It informs balance into the sound, so that when you are in chest voice, again, I'm using the common day vernacular, it is going to be a healthy thing for you. Eggs, bacon, vodka. Oh, I do love some of these handles. Eggs, bacon, vodka. I am a fan of eggs and bacon. I don't like vodka. I've got to admit my palate does not go the direction of vodka, but nonetheless, if someone doesn't have a nice timbre, can they do anything about it? Yes, they can. Timbre is all about resonance and about vocal tract shapes and again the balance of the voice. And so eggs, bacon, vodka, you can do something about developing your timbre. Emphysedium on Xbox. I'm a beginner, only a few weeks into daily exercises, but my main thing is that my voice feels plain. Nothing really to it. Is there something I am doing wrong? No, there's nothing you're doing wrong, and anything I'm about to say from this point forward should not reinforce your self-view that your voice is plain. Every voice is individual. Every voice is unique, and the beauty first and foremost is in the fact that it is unique. What to someone is plain, to another person is absolute beauty in heaven. And it's really important that you always remember that your own view of your own voice may not be, and is likely not going to be, the view from someone else. Now, that all being said, you can develop your voice, as we just said, to eggs, bacon, vodka. You can develop your tone and your timbre, and so again, Voice Essentials, the Voice Essentials suite of activities goes through that for you, and you can explore that. I'm still smiling at eggs, bacon, vodka. Ira Road, good to have you, one of our regulars. Ira, in transitioning from singing sections with really fast singing diction or rap to singing more sustained pitch sections with slower diction, should there be a major change in vocal technique? No, the technique is in the ability to move quickly between those two activities. What we do know is actually moving from singing to speech, singing to speech, singing to speech is a very tiring activity for the voice. Interestingly, the first exercise, exercise 36 on Voice Essentials 3, actually is a sibilant fricative followed by a vowel. Sh, ah, sh, ah, sh, ah, and it has you moving between not speech to singing, but certainly an airflow to immediate phonation, and it's a really helpful activity to do in regards to that. And of course, in Voice Essentials 2, there is an articulation exercise with the Lady Gaga activity, Ira, so you might want to check those things out. Gacha undercurrents estimator. Again, I gave it a red hot go. How do you make the whistle register for men longer? I can do the whistle register, but not for long. And how can you make your voice not almost collapse? By that I mean shaking when you are singing. So whistle register, it is a very specific posture of the vocal folds that to our current way of understanding is not doable by the entire population. I can't do whistle register. My vocal folds will not posture in that position. Some people can do it, some people can't. So as far as Linda's renaming under cuteness estimator. Okay. I'm watching Linda do a live thing of the questions here. Sorry, Dan, that's completely fine, Linda. I just couldn't make heads nor tails of it. One of the reasons why the whistle register may be cutting out is because of your airflow may be a bit inconsistent, and therefore being able to maintain that that particular posture and having the oscillation of the vocal folds with that posture might be being interrupted by what you're doing with your air. As far as the almost collapse by means shaking, shaking is going to be one of two things. It's either going to be because the voice is under too much load, or it's going to be because the voice does not have sufficient enough air, and so it's going into a rationing sort of scenario. Either way, it's muscular tension, and either way, the first thing we'd want to address would be airflow, I think, which in turn would then lead us to be able to create more balance at a muscular level. Ryan O'Rourke lol. I have a maximum chest range of C2 to E5. My sweet spot in the range is E2 to E4. Cool. Will I ever be able to articulate words and phrases without tension in my full range the way I do in my sweet spot? Articulation, well, maybe. It depends on what you mean by articulate words. For example, I don't know if you've ever noticed that for most people when they're singing in whistle tone, as we were talking before, more often than not, the singers that we hear doing that, like a Mariah Carey or some of the singers from Pentatonics and stuff, they're not actually creating words on that register. They're sort of creating vowels and what have you. I'm not saying that they can't do words on whistle registers. I'm just telling you where we normally how we'd normally hear it produced. And so I would say yes, but you know, when we're working on our sweet spot, think about it from an anatomical point of view. Most of us are not working to our full potential when it comes to the way we work across our range. So we're not looking, I don't want you to hear this incorrectly, we're not looking to expand your sweet spot. What we're looking to do is to ensure that the way we're producing our voice is actually giving us a good coverage of what you're referring to your sweet spot, or in my video I refer to it as in the vocal registration, voice type video, I refer to it as the prima voce. And so yes, I think you should expect to be able to articulate either side of that prima voce, that sweet spot. But then when we get into the extremes, maybe not so much. But I'm never one to say never. The older I get, the more I realize that this world is full of freakish things, and the moment I say, no, you won't be able to, someone will send me a video or a link to a video saying, you don't know what you're talking about. Look, listen to this. Brian C. Hi there. Is there a difference when you are teaching students whose first language is not English? Yeah, there is, Brian. Mostly because some things get lost in translation. But as far as actually singing in another language, I've got a number of students. I've got a Korean student at the moment. I've got a student who sings a lot of Russian. I've got, you know, over the years, I've had Japanese. I've had Spanish. You know, I teach a lot of students who speak other languages as their first language. And because my approach is a very technical approach to the voice, of course, I can't be specific to working on songs with them, as in I don't know what they're saying. I've got to trust the way they're pronouncing words, etc. is accurate. But nonetheless, I can help them and help their voices to move through those songs with those sounds in a proper way. I think, Amy, we got a question from you a little earlier, so I'm going to jump over that question. Dimic Music. When I try, I've just seen the time, we're going to have to finish up in a minute, everyone. When I try to sing louder in a higher pitch, I either sound loud but heady with less strain, but when I want a fuller sound, I end up flipping back down to that thicker, firm feeling of chest voice. Then I feel a tension of my chords closing tightly, thus causing increasing strain over the length of the song. Can you advise me on this issue? I have got to read that again. When I try to sing louder in a high pitch, I either sound loud but heady with less strain, but when I want a fuller sound, I end up flipping back down to that thicker feeling of chest voice. Then I feel tension of my chords closing. Okay, so this is, I would say this comes back to the thing that we're talking about a lot today, and that is breath flow. You know, look, I saw a video recently. Was it a video? It might have been an article, you know, where the person, the author of the video or article, I can't remember what it was now, was saying, you know, breath is not everything. You know, these singing teachers that talk about breath being everything. I actually agree with that. Breath is not everything. But I tell you what, it's more often than not involved, right? Because breathing, you know, breath fuels the voice. And if your breath flow is either inconsistent, overpressurized, underpressurized, then it is going to have an impact on your sound and the creation of sound. And so more often than not, we do have to look at what is your air doing. And when we can address air, then we can find ourselves addressing other things to more benefit, to high levels of benefit. And so when we think about the tension of your chords and those sorts of things, then that suggests to me that there is a bearing down of the larynx against airflow. And that, you're absolutely right, that will cause increasing strain over the length of a song. And so we've got to address airflow. Got to address airflow. Clacker ULC Sydney, I'm glad to see you're still with us, Clacker, because I saw earlier in the show that you were saying you didn't have any audio or visual, so that would suggest to me that you've finally caught up with that. Can you please do so? Now I'm having trouble reading your question because Linda is currently typing and I couldn't see over her name. Can you please do something on the transgender voice for those of us on testosterone? I've been on testosterone since April 15. Yeah, sure. So that might be a show that we do something specifically on in the new year, and I will welcome being reminded about that, Clacker, because I think it's a really important issue. And I've had students in here that transgendered. I just threw my pen. I'll leave it. I've had transgendered voices in studio, and I've worked with them. And it is a really challenging process to go through, as you know. So being on testosterone, I would suspect that you've transitioned to male, which means really that the process is like going through male puberty, and therefore the larynx is growing to a significantly larger size. And so being comfortable with that and being directed through that process is something that I am not unfamiliar with, and I think it would be great for us to do a specific show on that in the new year, and so I will remember to do that. I'm going to call it there because I can feel my voice really starting to, as I said, the air quality in Brisbane at the moment is terrible, like really bad. We never have air quality like that, like it is today. But there you go. I hope you've enjoyed the show, everyone. It's always a pleasure to hang out with you and to spend the time that you put aside to join us for the live show. And it has been a massive year. It really has. You know, can I tell you a little secret? I had this sort of crazy thought that I would just simply move on from doing all the prep work and the work for Voice Essentials 3, release it. I'd planned to release it a month earlier, beginning of October. That didn't work out, and then I was just going to dive straight into developing Voice Essentials 2 online course. I'm spent. I need a good holiday, and we'll get to Voice Essentials 2 online course next year, because I just do not have it in me to do any more. But nonetheless, one of the things I do enjoy about my week is hanging out with you all every Monday. Again, I just so that for those of you who are still with me, next year we're going to be moving the show to an hour earlier on a Monday. It's going to actually go live at 1 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time, and that's actually to make it a little bit easier for our US guests, who many of them are in New York and Washington and that sort of eastern seaboard of the States, so that at least they're joining us before midnight, not on midnight. And so hopefully that'll benefit many of you as well. It has been a lot of fun. I hope you've enjoyed today's live hangout. I will see you in 2 weeks for our very last show of 2019. I really hope that you'll be able to join us for that show. And until then, I hope you all stay safe, be happy, be in good voice, and I'll see you again soon. I'm Dr. Dan. Sing well.